o'clock in the morning, I'll have fish and a rice cake.
Okay, welcome back to Fish and a Rice Cake.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
I'm Jake. He's Jake, A.K.A Dave, and we are here to do we need to say
A.K.A Big Dave. Can't forget the
Big,
big
Big
name.
Dave, A.K.A Big
How are they
Dave.
going to know? This is an audio-based platform. They need to know I'm fucking mad.
Yeah, Big Dave. And if you're watching, on YouTube, which you should,
You'll know I'm lying.
you'll know that he's massive, absolutely huge. What are we doing? Do we need to say it? We're here to give you some
No, you say it because I
non-science,
can't bring myself to say it.
ranty,
Oh, sorry, the intro bit. Yeah. I
not
don't know.
all that kind of stuff. Anyway, you've heard the other intros, so like all of that kind
We
of
need
stuff.
to get it nailed down, where it's like, right, this is what we say when we start. One of us starts it, one of us says the intro, and we jump into what we're on about.
But also, I think it's because then it can be a bit scripted. Do you know what I mean? So I think the people know. The people listen. If you've got this far, and you've listened,
Yeah.
you know what we're about. Hopefully, but yeah, hopefully we're all good. Hopefully everyone is well. It's freaking freezing in Manchester this morning. We had like a bit of a false summer or start to summer spring
Yeah,
last
we
week,
did. Yeah,
and
we
it
had a
was
couple of
really
really nice
nice. And
days.
then like I've woke up this morning, it's absolutely brass. I'm like, great,
It's
fantastic.
not that bad here, to be fair. Like it's grayer, but it's not overly cold. Like I've been out for an hour
Cold here.
this morning and it wasn't that bad.
It's cold here. I don't know if that's just me though. I'm not hungover, but I can tell I've had a couple of beers. I went out yesterday for St. Patrick's Day,
I was
just
gonna
to,
wonder because I was like, "There's no." I know I watched the Newcastle Liverpool game because all like my brothers are all Liverpool Newcastle fans,
bet
and
they're happy today. Bet they're happy.
I
Fucking
got a
hell.
photo. So my younger brother, so my eldest brother lives in Newcastle. He went there for uni, and I've got like family from there as well. And my youngest brother went up to see my eldest brother so they could watch the game together and have a night out. I'm assuming, I don't actually know whether they did, but they seemed to be together. So,
Yeah.
and there was a picture of my oldest brother. He's 30. By 9 p.m., passed out on his bathroom floor.
Love it. Quality. Do you know what? That was a great result for
It was
Newcastle.
a
I mean,
good day. It was a good game. Like they
I
deserved it.
didn't see, I've not actually seen the game because, like I said, I was out for Paddy's Day.
Good game.
But yeah, no, it was supposed to be a good game, and like obviously, I'm not a huge fan of Liverpool Football Club. So, and to be honest, I don't really have anything drastically against them. It's just that rivalry that City and
Yeah.
Liverpool have had over the last couple of years. So to see them crash out the Champions League and the League Cup in the same week is lovely.
Is the
Sorry,
Carabao Cup the FA Cup?
no, the FA Cup's the FA Cup.
So what's the Carabao Cup then?
It's the League Cup. It used to be called the League Cup.
It
So
used to be called the Carling Cup.
it's been the Carling Cup as
Oh,
well.
okay, right now. Okay, I'm with
Yeah,
you.
it's been the Carling Cup as well. So it's seen as, I suppose, the lesser one out of them.
Yeah,
Like the FA Cup is like the more traditional one. It's the one that everybody
yeah,
wants to
yeah.
win. So the League Cup, some managers and some clubs don't take it like that seriously. Just because they've got, they might want to focus on the Champions League or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's still I mean, I've been to quite a few finals for the League Cup, and it's still a brilliant, like it's a
Yeah, yeah.
brilliant day out. You
Oh,
get to
Wembley, isn't it?
and also you've won a trophy by March. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm a big fan of it. But yeah, there we go. But yeah, I went out for a couple of beers. So it was Louise's family were all Irish, and like I've got Irish parents, grandparents, and stuff like that. So we decided to we got sitters for the first time. So we got Louise's mum and dad to have both Thea and Brody for the afternoon. So when I met a couple of mates in there's a little Irish bar that's just opened up near us. They had like live band on and stuff. So it was quite nice. I only had about 4 or 5 pints, and we were home by 6 o'clock because obviously we had to feed and put the kids
Yeah,
to
yeah.
bed and all that kind of stuff. But like we were drunk, because we've not been
Yeah.
out, like because we've not done anything. Like we were pissed.
Yeah,
Like,
because you're obviously going to be like sleep deprived anyway, and
yeah,
knackered
that's it.
anyway, and then going out and like same with me. If I go out now, I can have like 2 or 3 Guinness, and that's
Feel
it.
it.
Yeah,
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 yeah. I know. So I woke up this morning, still woke up at 5 in the morning, and got a taxi to pick up the car, to then go to the gym, to then come back from the gym, and then as I was telling you before we came on, we've had a bit of a mad morning with Thea's starting to wake up early and stuff. But anyway, won't go into it. What are we here to really talk about?
Well, you went and did a sports day, didn't you, back end of last week? You drove all the way to Scotland to take your top off and run around the sports hall.
I didn't take my top off, and I
You did
didn't
take your
drive.
top off.
No,
Probably the
no,
best.
didn't.
Probably
Yeah.
the best. Wouldn't want to give anyone a fright, would we?
Yeah, no, I didn't take my top off. It's one of them where like I was wondering if I was going to or not. I didn't know if I was like get caught up in the environment,
Mm.
but fuck it, just take my top off. But yeah, so for reference, Jake is referring to Hyrox, which
That's what I said,
means
wasn't it? That's
Which
what I thought.
means, do you know what it means, Hyrox? It's the worst meaning in the world.
I actually have no idea. I thought it literally meant take your top off in the sports hall.
It
And
means hybrid rock star.
is that what it means? Hybrid rockstar.
Yeah.
Hybrid rockstar.
Yeah, which is fucking awful, like absolutely horrendous.
Is
So,
hybrid rock. I've seen you say hybrid rockstar a lot, and I thought you were just making a joke about it. I
yeah,
didn't
no,
know that's what.
I mean, I am taking the piss. I am making a joke of it, but yeah, that's what it stands for. So, Hyrox, if you're listening to this, which you won't be, but if you are, like, you could have thought of something better there. Like that's
You know what's
horrendous.
funny is that hybrid rockstar probably 40 years ago in the 80s would probably mean some musician that did heroin and drank a lot.
Yeah, yeah, literally.
Times change, man. Times change.
Yeah, but
No, yeah,
no,
no, but do you know what? I take the piss, but I am actually genuinely interested to hear. But I know how you did, and I want us to chat about that. But I'm genuinely interested just to hear how the day itself runs and how it's lived up to expectation for you.
do you know what it surprised me, mate? Honestly, so I went down to Glasgow on Wednesday night, stayed over, literally got there like 9 o'clock. So I literally had some food, went straight to bed, got up, and then I was racing at 8:40. My time was starting, so I was like had to head down to the arena or whatever. But
Mm.
I've got to say, like, it was way beyond my expectations. It was fucking incredible, mate. Like, genuinely incredible. Like, the setup that they've got there, when you go in, you feel like you're part of something a lot bigger than just going and doing like a race. Like, I've
Mm.
done, half marathons, etc., in the past and other, events as such. And like, you just kind of turn up and like it says, 3, 2, 1, go. This is totally different. Like, it is totally different. I can't really explain it. Like, you just have to go and see it. But
Mm.
they invest. It must cost a fortune to put it on. Obviously, they're making a fortune as well. Like, you're paying 100 quid for the privilege to be there, and I think it was 19,000 or 20,000 or something they were racing in Hyrox, Glasgow this weekend. So like, you only have to put two and two together to realize that. But it's amazing. It's genuinely amazing. Like, you've got a big, like, the huge warm up area. Then you go into like a tunnel, and it's almost like you go, and they're playing like really like motivational music, and it's like 3, 2, 1, go. It's fucking cool, mate. Like, it is so
So do
cool.
you get set off with a cohort of people, or is it
Yes.
staggered starts for everybody?
Yes, so you get set off. You're given like a start time, obviously based on what you're racing in. So I was racing
Mm.
in men's open, so like it was always going to be people, doing singles. But like, you've got doubles, you've got mixed doubles, etc. But you'll go with your same cohort as such, and you're just given a time. And like, in my kind of little like cohort of people, if you like, there were some people who have done loads of Hyroxes, really really fit, and they were doing like sub 60. There was a couple there who did like 2 hours. So like, you don't know who's in there, like, which is quite
Mm.
cool as well. And then yeah, you just like, honestly, mate, it was good. It
Do you
was
feel
really.
like you're racing against everybody else in your group?
I think a little bit at the start, but when you get out onto the course, because everyone's like kind of shoots off in different areas and different speeds and all that kind of stuff. Like, after 5, 10 minutes, and that's the whole point, right? This is where a lot of people go wrong with Hyrox, because they haven't really got a game plan. So all they try and do is keep up with the people who they're setting off with.
Mm.
And if I was to try and do that with someone who's way fitter than you, you're gonna blow your load early, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? You're just not gonna be able to keep up.
Yeah.
So it's but that's why you have to rein yourself in, and that's one of the reasons that I fucked up with my laps, because I did go in with a little bit of a game plan. Like, I was aware of what my fitness levels were like. I'm aware of a max heart rate. I was aware of where I needed to be loosely to be like within my zone, if that makes sense. So I did have a bit of a plan. But I can see how people get carried away, because if you see someone run off at the start and they're going dead fast, and you always like, it's just like human nature to want to
Yeah,
try and
yeah.
keep up with them and try and compete with them. But the whole point of Hyrox is it's you versus you. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's a beautiful thing about it, because it is, it's repetitive. Like, Hyrox never changes. So I could go and do another Hyrox, and although it might be a different arena, different place, or different country or location, like, the actual event itself is identical.
Mm.
So it's almost like you test and you retest. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're always just you versus you, which is pretty cool.
So
Um,
what time did you get in the end?
so I did 1 hour 21,
And what
which
did you want?
I wanted. Like, I was in my mind, I was thinking, if I got a sub 120, I would have been happy.
Right, but that was with you doing an extra couple of laps.
Yeah, which I'll talk about in a second. I did do a simulation a couple of weeks back where I did 109, but what they don't take into consideration with the simulations is what you call like your rock zone. So when you finish your exercise, to get back onto the running course is like quite a large space. And like that was way bigger than what I expected. So that kind of really threw me off. So I knew there was going to be an extra couple of minutes on there anyway. But even that, my rock zone time was only 1 hour. Sorry, it was only 4 minutes something. So in theory, I should have ran about a 1:13 if you take my simulation time with the rock zone. I should have run about 1:13, 1:14, which would have been fucking incredible for like my first go. Like I would have been over the moon. But I think those extra laps they just balls me up at the start.
So how, because I literally know very, very little about Hyrox.
Yeah,
I've done a couple of programs for clients before where I've looked at what the events are. So I understand the events to a degree, but I don't understand the actual structure and layout of the day. So
yeah,
is it essentially you are running around the outside of this
yeah,
arena to do
yeah.
probably your distance, your laps? Is it a kilometer between?
1 kilometer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go into the center to do your different
Literally
events,
that. So
your
they've got
different
like so you're
exercises.
running round, and then they've got like what they call the rocks is the rock zone, and in the rock zone you've got like station 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and finally your wall balls at the end. So you do your laps to hit your kilometer into the rock zone, do your exercise out the rock zone, and you go again. Do you know what I mean?
Right. And you just work your way through the
You
stations.
work your way through the stations. So it goes skier, sled push, sled pull, burpee broad jumps, which were fucking like the
How
most
many of them do you have to do?
80 meters. So it's basically 80 reps.
Fucking hell.
Mate,
That's
it's a
quite far.
lot.
That's quite far for
It's a
that doesn't
lot.
sound far, but wait, if you're down on the floor looking ahead at 80 meters,
Oh, it's a lot.
it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, wow, this is intense. And that was one of my worst stations. Like I didn't do a single burpee in training, which obviously wasn't ideal. But yeah, I just can't stand the fuckers. But yeah, something to learn for the next one if I do one. But so yeah, you work your way through the stations, and after every station, you go and do your 1 kilometer run. So like 8 kilometer running, like in theory, is fine. But when
Mm.
you're doing it after 80 meters of burpee broad jumps,
Yeah,
or you're
yeah, yeah.
doing it after a sled push or a sled pull, which are both very fatiguing because they spike your heart rate so much. So your run is not accurate to what you'd normally run, if that
Is the
makes sense.
sled a set weight?
Yes. So depending on the like men's open, men's
Yeah.
pro, doubles, whatever. But yes, a set weight. So for me, the sled push was 148 kilos. And I think the sled pull is a little bit lighter,
It's
but it's
heavy
a
though.
fit.
That is
Oh, it's
heavy.
a fit. Oh, yeah, it's heavy,
And you've got to
mate.
do 80 meters for those as
So
well.
that'd be, yeah, 80 meters. Yeah, because it's 4 lengths, 80 meters.
It's a fair old distance to be
And
fair.
that's what I mean. So, like, obviously, listen, I don't take myself too seriously, obviously. And I like to, like, prod a bit of fun at, like, Hyrox, people who take it dead serious, because they do call themselves athletes, right? And ultimately, you are paying to be there. Like, you are not being paid to be
Hmm.
there. Athlete is, a vague use of the word. But credit where it's due, like, some of the people there can shift. Like, they are unbelievably fit. Unbelievably fit.
What would you say was the hardest station?
Definitely the burpee road jumps.
The burpees.
Yeah, and also the wall balls at the end because
That, to be fair, to put them at the end is pretty cruel.
that's it. If you did that at the start, I mean, they'd be hard anytime. The wall balls, don't get me wrong. It doesn't sound like they'd be hard, like 100 wall balls. That can't be that bad with 9 kilos, which isn't that heavy. But
Well,
when
it's
you
essentially 100 squats with a 9 kilo weight that you
yeah,
have
it's
to throw
basically
overhead.
100 thrusters in it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you've got the press at the top as well. So that's intense, and because it's the last one, like you're just absolutely dead on your feet by then. So like. Yeah, that was tough as well. But you've just got to accept you're in the pain cave by that point. The problem with the burpee broad jumps is like they're halfway through. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So like for me, because I knew that as well, I almost try and pace myself a little bit up until the burpee broad jumps. And in my head, if I
Mm.
can get through the burpee broad jumps, I know I'm over halfway and like you've done the worst of it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
But yeah, burpee broad jumps definitely the worst.
Yeah, it doesn't sound a lot of fun. I feel like with that, the running and the farmer's walk would almost be like the active recovery stations to a degree.
Yeah, definitely. And like the farmers walks because they're not intense on the legs and everything else is like you do get a bit of break there. Obviously, it's intense upper body wise, but
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
like it's not that bad. Like I managed to do that unbroken, like really quick, like
Mm.
absolutely fine. Doesn't really spike your heart rate. So I would say that. And for me, the rower, like I'm quite a good rower, I always have been.
Mm.
Like the I found those as like they were my little stations to try and get my shit together and like kind of
Yeah.
compose myself a little bit. But yes, like I say, I think if I didn't do those extra laps at the start, so just for context, I didn't do it on the first run because you can't really go wrong on the first run because you're with everybody else. It
Yeah.
was on the second and third runs. I was trying to keep an eye on like my heart rate. I was trying to keep an eye on making sure I was going at a certain speed. And because I was trying to concentrate on all these things, I basically you go into the rock zone on the third time you see the in. But if you go in early, you get, I think it's a 5 minute penalty, time penalty. 5 or 7 minutes, I can't remember, but one of the two. So I was like, well, one lap is probably like a minute and a half, which is still like, and it's extra fatigue, but it's better than getting a 5 or 7 minute
Yeah. So
time
you take the
penalty.
gamble.
So in my head, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna have to take the gamble. And then I did it, and I did it twice, like stupidly, because I did it on the second run and the third run. And it was only when like one of the guys in my kind of like heat or wave or whatever, he said to me, he said, "You're doing one extra lap, like you need to stop doing it." He ran past me and told me, which was really nice of him. He didn't fucking have to do that, but I was like, nice one. I thought I was like, man, I'm pretty certain I'm here. But then I managed to compose myself. But by that point, I couldn't get my paces back, like my running. So when I did my simulation, I was doing 4:45 per kilometer, like quite comfortably. And I just couldn't pull it back round. I was at like 5:13, 5:14, 5:20
Yeah.
on some of them. And it was just, I couldn't get it back because I'd obviously fatigued myself so much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think listen, it's obviously no excuses because it's just fucking stupid to me. But without that, I think I would have got a sub 120 quite comfortably. You know, that would have been maybe a 117, 118, which for your first go is like really respectable. Do you know? Like it's 8 kilometers running, which, is tough in itself. And then you've got all those stations. Like for me, I would have been really happy with that. So it's one of them where I've been debating whether I'll do another one at some stage.
Because you feel like you've got you know you can put in a better time.
Yeah, I know I can do better, and I know I know what I need to improve on. And like I went in with this kind of game plan, like I'll do this, I'll do that, and then when you get in there, and the intensity of like the actual kind of arena, like the music, and just the environment, you get a bit carried away and a bit lost in it all. So I think now I know what to expect. I'd like to go in with a little bit more composure and be like, nah, I can do better here, and just.
Yeah.
So I think I'll do at least one more just to set the record straight. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
what's the difference between the singles and the doubles? Is it literally just you do it with someone else, but everything you do is the same?
Literally the same. So like say me and you did a doubles. Never know, Jake. Could be on. So say me and you did a doubles, we would do all of the runs together. So you run
Yeah.
together and then you go into the rock zone and then you can split the stations between you. So like on the burpee broad jumps, this is like the best example for me. I could do like 20 meters, be fucking blowing out my ass, but like you tap in. So you come in, you do 20, I do 20. So you get a bit of a break.
Oh, so you're basically doing half the work then on
You're
the
doing
stage.
half the work, essentially. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing
Yeah.
half the work. So, which is why like people's doubles times are always obviously way quicker because
Yeah.
you're doing a lot less work. It's more about I think it's more about the running
Would
when
you
you do
not
the double.
rather if you did it again then want to do like, as an example, if we did it, you'd want to do you'd still want to do the singles, but you almost just try and stick together, but do your own single time, and if you break off type thing. Because otherwise,
No,
you won't be able
you've
to beat
got to
your own
finish at the
time.
same time. You've got to finish at the same time. Like if you do
No, in the
double.
doubles, I know, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
But I mean, because you want to beat your time, right? So there's no point going and back and doing the doubles because it's a completely different
It's just a different
comparison.
rate, isn't it? It's like you would just like I would just do them both. I'd just do them
All
both.
right, you can do them both.
Yeah, just doing both. Like not in the same day, like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do. But yeah, I would love to do a double separate to the singles. What
Yeah,
do you reckon,
sounds like
Jake?
no.
Yeah, not selling you on it. Not selling you on it.
No, no, it's one of those like I don't hate the idea of it. It's
Do you know
but
what, mate?
I'm just
Honestly,
fucking lazy, mate. I think the thought of the amount of effort, I'm just like I did when we doing all that running last year. I was like, I didn't. That is
I
just a
think
lot of
that's
effort.
it. And like the thing for me is, I suppose obviously I'm older than you, right? So I've done more of the standard gym stuff for like a longer
Mm.
period of time, and I love it. Like don't get me wrong, like I still love just going to the gym, doing a push day, a pull day, etc. I do genuinely enjoy that stuff, but I'm probably just at a point where I'm like, I see this with loads of my clients and stuff. Like every now and again, I just need something else. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like something else
yeah.
just to give me a little bit of a push.
I get that. I think when I say like I can't be asked with the effort, it's not necessarily like I can't be asked with the thought of doing any of it. It's I know that as soon as I say I'm gonna do it, I will then go like committed
Full
on it and be
time
like,
up.
right, I'm gonna make a plan. I'll start training for it and I'll start progressing for it. And I'm like, I know what I'm like, and I'll get pissed off if I don't fully go in on it to
Yeah.
do as well as I possibly can. I'm like, can I be asked with that right now?
And it is a lot of training. So like that's something I've been talking about in my YouTube like vlogs a lot. So if you've not watched the YouTubes, go and watch the YouTube vlogs. They've actually gone down really, really well.
Yeah, yeah, the views on them are decent.
Yeah, like they've gone down well. So go and watch. I've got one more. I've got the actual Hyrox like event day itself and like the taper week in the build up to it in
Mm.
terms of my training, my nutrition and stuff coming out soon. So that'll hopefully be a good one. Um, But yeah, I've been talking about like the fact that it is intensive. So like for me, obviously, I've been Brody in the last like couple of months and in January, like it's not been the most optimal conditions. But that's kind of one of the reasons that I did it as well, was actually to show my clients, my followers that you're never going to have a right time, never going to be an optimal time. So you might as well fucking and like having something to commit to, whether that's a photo shoot, whether that's going to be a Hyrox, a run, a fucking whatever it might be, like having a date and having that accountability of a set time and something to work towards, I think is just really fucking important, which is why we do Blitz, right? So
Yeah. And we could have a laugh filming it and making some vlogs out of it, couldn't we?
yeah, well, that's it. It is good content as well. I think I think people are intrigued by it, and honestly, I think it is only going to get more popular. I can't see it like dying down. Like,
Well, it's
'cause-
such a smaller, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's such a lower barrier to entry than like
yeah,
CrossFit. You know,
yeah,
you
and
don't
it's
need
not as like
specialized
I
classes
want
of
to be careful of my
training.
words here, but it's not as culty. Like, it's not
Mm.
like anybody can just rock up and fucking do one. Like you say, it's not high skill. It's high fitness. Like if you want to do it at a decent time, if you want to be like kind of good at it,
Yeah.
so to speak, but it's not high skill. There's no Olympic lifting. There's nothing like that. Like it's quite, you can essentially just go and do a few runs and get strong
Yeah.
in the gym, and you're going to be able to do a high rocks, which is the beauty of it, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, of course it is. That's why it's so
And like I
popular.
remember, as I left, I remember I went for some breakfast straight afterwards, and I was sat there thinking, before I went for breakfast, I was like, I'm never doing that again.
I was going to ask
Done
you,
it.
what did you think during it versus because when you're on the floor and you've done 50 burpees and you've got 30 left to go and you're looking at the track,
Mate,
thinking, fuck me, I am knackered.
I wanted to like fake an injury and go into the medic tent. Like I'm not even joking. Like that thought crossed my mind. Like I
Yeah.
was in that much pain. But then you do get out, and I don't know, I suppose it's like the endorphin hit, isn't it, of doing something like that, and like you do start to feel good about things. And but anyway, yeah, I'll probably say for an hour or so, I was like, I'm never doing that again. Like I'm happy I've done it, but I'm never doing it again. But now I've got home and the dust has settled a little bit more, and I've seen like my break because you get to see like a breakdown on your times, you can see where
Mm.
you improve and all this kind of stuff, and like you get your pictures back, and the pictures are pretty cool. I don't know, like they've got a really good product because now I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm kind of like shit. I want to do better now. Do you know what I
Have
mean?
you
And
got
like,
that itch that you get when like the first time you do a few photo shoots and you
yeah,
think, I want to come back and be bigger and stronger and look better?
literally that, mate. Literally
Yeah.
that's like the first time you do a photo shoot, right? You're never 100% happy, or I wasn't 100% happy. I
No,
think
I
you
don't
were.
think you ever are.
Yeah, so
I
like you get
wasn't.
that itch to go like, fuck it, I can do better than that. So you go away, you build, you come back, you're leaner, you're bigger, etc. So yeah, there's a little element of me which is like that. And ultimately as well, like don't get me wrong, like part of Hyrox for me was the fitness challenge, was the endurance side of things as a challenge. But from a physique standpoint, like it's actually quite a good training. It's just the accountability to going out, staying fit, to doing some cardio, to going to the gym, getting strong.
Yeah, well, I think that's the trade-off. And obviously, when you look at like a shoot prep, obviously it's physically demanding, but the training, you're not coming out of the gym absolutely blowing out your ass, feeling
No.
sick from the amount of work that you've done. The difficulty with the shoot prep comes in more in the nutrition side of things and the
Yeah.
restriction and the elimination and the consistency there. Whereas, like you said, with the high rock stuff, it's very much more the training volume side of things is where the work is and the difficulty. And as long as you keep things ticking over nicely in the background, nutrition wise, lifestyle wise, outside of it, you're going to be fine, right? You can still go out for a meal and it's not going to make any difference whatsoever.
Not at all. Yeah, and
But
obviously, and you can again, like it will help. I'm not saying, listen, dieting with something like a Hyrox or a marathon or something which is quite intensive is probably not great. Like those two things just don't go well together because
no,
you might have stress on your body. So I wouldn't recommend anyone necessarily if you're going to diet whilst you're doing a Hyrox, it'll be a low deficit. You don't want to be under recovered. You need to make sure
yeah,
that you're looking after things from a nutrition
you need a
standpoint.
good coach to help you through it.
I need a coach talking through it, yeah, obviously. But if I think it's one of them, this is why we always break things down into phases. So, like for me now, and I'm going to start vlogging this, I'm doing a 6 week tidy up, like because I've got
Mm,
summer coming up, a few holidays coming up, so I want to get lean. But also, I'm now thinking in the back of my mind, well, because I'm still got visible abs and things. Like I don't need to. It's not going to have to be a long, just similar to yourself, 6 weeks, and I'll be in a really good place. Okay,
yeah,
so 6 week tidy up going into the summer, but also if I can drop 5, 6 kilos within this period of time, except the performance from like a high rock standpoint, running standpoint, etc., might just have to be chilled a little bit and just
yeah,
reduced a little bit in terms of intensity. I know that on the back end of that, I'll be lighter, therefore I'll be a more economical runner, I'll be a faster runner, I'll be quicker on my feet, and I'll be able to bring calories back up and actually probably stay in that kind of condition whilst bringing
yeah.
food right up. And like this is why it's good to break down your year into chunks. And I've got a couple of clients who are doing Hyroxes and things, and they also want to get leaner at the same time. I'm like, okay, well, listen, let's get lean first, and then let's bring your performance in after. And that's when I think the beauty of something like Hyrox can be great, because it will give you a drive and a focus to stay in shape rather than just get in shape and finish. Do you know what I mean? Like having that performance-related goal afterwards can actually work really well. And it'll make you faster, it'll make you quicker, it'll make you stronger, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. And you get to be a hybrid rock star.
I'm a hybrid rockstar, mate. There we go.
It's always fun. You'll be wearing sunglasses on your check-ins now.
Sunglasses on my check-ins, no strips, topless.
Living the dream. Let's go. It's good. No, well done, mate. Well done.
Nice one.
As much as I take the piss, well done.
No, and like I say, I've always kind of taken the piss out of like Hyrox athletes, as I say, and like poked a bit of fun at them, but you have to hold your hands up and like fair folks, like those guys can shift. And it's funny, like I know we're going to finish soon, but you've got like two backgrounds coming to Hyrox. So like you've almost got like the runners and you've got the bodybuilders you've got the bodybuilders who are probably similar to me to a certain extent, who want to maybe try and do a little bit more kind of conditioning and challenge your body in different ways. But then you've also got the runners who are not that strong, but they're really good at fucking running. So like you've got this blend of people, and like the bodybuilder stuff, they need to get better at running, and the runners need to get better at bodybuilding, essentially. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting blend. But yeah, anyway, that's just my insight.
Cool. Well, we'll leave that one there.
Yes, we will finish up. So yeah, time to move into a little bit of a diet phase and see where we are. But I'm certainly not announcing the next Hyrox anytime soon, mate. But we'll see. In the next few months, that might change.
Right. Thanks for listening.
Bye bye.
Catch you in a bit.